I poured my life into Nexus Echoes. Years of my creative genius, my entire savings, everything. This game was poised to redefine the industry. It was my magnum opus, my legacy. Alex, my co-founder, was my brother. We built this dream together, late nights, shared sacrifices. Our bond felt unbreakable. I trusted him with my life, with my passion. Launch day arrived. The air crackled with electric excitement. The gaming community buzzed. My heart pounded. Not with fear, but with overwhelming anticipation and pride. Then the reports started. Catastrophic server failures, game-breaking bugs, corrupt save files. The system crumbled. My stomach dropped, a cold dread spreading through me. Public outcry erupted. Media condemned the failure. Our company's stock plummeted into freefall. The dream, once so vibrant, was now a nightmare, collapsing before my eyes. I faced the immediate backlash. My reputation shattered. My professional legacy destroyed overnight. The profound shock was a physical blow, leaving me numb and broken. Alex delivered a public statement. He feigned empathy, his words carefully chosen. But I saw it in his eyes, a subtle coldness, a calculated deflection of blame that unsettled me deeply. An insidious suspicion began to gnaw at me. This wasn't just a failure. It was too perfect, too widespread, too devastating to be merely accidental. Something was deeply wrong. I started replaying every detail, every conversation, every technical decision. The specific vulnerabilities, the timing of the crashes. It felt deliberate, like a cruel, intricate puzzle. Then the chilling realization dawned. This was orchestrated, this was sabotage, a pre-planned, insidious attack, and the only person with the motive and access was the man I called brother. I confronted Alex in his office. He met my gaze for a moment, then looked away. His movements too controlled. He blamed outside attacks, a perfect storm of unforeseen technical glitches. His words were calm, but I felt a disconnect. The company spiraled fast. Within weeks, bankruptcy papers arrived. My life's work, my entire savings vanished. I was financially ruined, standing in the shell of what was once our dream. The industry turned on me. Public forums, news articles, they painted me as incompetent, a fraud. My phone stopped ringing. I became a pariah overnight, isolated and shamed. Despite the chaos, a cold logic began to stir. Alex's stories had small gaps. I started reviewing what server logs and internal communications I could still access. Little things didn't add up. Mark, a junior developer I trusted, approached me quietly. He spoke of Alex's late nights before launch, unusual server modifications. He didn't accuse directly, but his hints were clear enough. I started replaying specific decisions Alex made in the weeks leading up to launch. Pushing for a specific untested server patch, insisting on a new complex content delivery system. I dismissed them as stress-induced choices then. Now they felt deliberate, the pieces clicked into place. The unforeseen issues weren't unforeseen at all. They were planned, meticulously implemented. A cold, hard truth settled in my gut. This was a calculated act of sabotage. My profound trust, once the bedrock of our partnership, shattered completely. Despair tried to overwhelm me, but it was quickly replaced by a simmering rage. I needed answers. More than that, I needed justice. I isolated myself. Every waking hour became a relentless pursuit of truth. I meticulously reviewed every piece of digital evidence I could find, old code, server logs, email archives. The digital footprints were there. Despair tried to reclaim me. But it failed. A flicker of cold, unyielding determination ignited within me. The game was gone, my reputation in tatters, but the truth remained. I would uncover it, and then I would make him pay. I spent weeks in a makeshift office, a quiet corner of my small apartment. My old work laptop hummed relentlessly, its fan a constant companion. Millions of lines of archived code scrolled across the screen, a dizzying blur of characters. Server logs stretched endlessly, a digital labyrinth I had to navigate. I worked in secret, often until dawn, fueled by cold coffee and a burning, singular need for answers. Sleep was a luxury I could not afford. Each line, each timestamp, each configuration change was a piece of the puzzle I had to solve. I was looking for anything out of place, any anomaly that a rushed eye might miss. It was a painstaking process, like searching for a single, specific grain of sand on an endless digital beach. But I knew that tiny grain held the key to everything, the truth behind our company's sudden, catastrophic collapse. Then I found it. A block of code expertly disguised, hidden deep within a routine server patch that Alex had insisted on just weeks before launch. It was a backdoor, a secret entry point designed for remote access. It lay dormant, waiting for a specific trigger to activate its malicious payload. My heart pounded with a mix of dread and vindication. This was no accident. This was deliberate, a weapon planted by a trusted hand. Once I knew what to look for, more appeared like dark patterns emerging from the noise. Dormant malware designed to activate precisely at launch, crippling our systems. Pre-programmed failure protocols, cleverly hidden within the game's core architecture, ensuring widespread crashes. It was a digital bomb ticking silently for months, waiting for its moment to explode and destroy everything. Alex had built it piece by insidious piece. I started mapping it all out, the precise timing of each malicious insertion. The specific vulnerabilities Alex had exploited, the ones only he would know. It wasn't a last-minute decision or a desperate act. This was a calculated months-long plan unfolding with chilling precision. Every move was precise, every piece placed with an almost artistic foresight. He had planned our ruin with meticulous care. Then came the true shock. A cold wave washing over me. Encrypted communications, not just between Alex and an unknown party, but directly with Apex Corp, our biggest rival, the company we had fought against for years. My blood ran cold, turning to ice in my veins. He hadn't just destroyed our dream, he had sold it piece by piece to the enemy, betraying everything we stood for. I tracked the money. Suspicious financial transactions, funneled through layers of shell companies and offshore accounts. Large sums timed perfectly with each phase of the sabotage implementation. It wasn't about a better offer for the game itself. It was about destroying us, then profiting from our spectacular downfall. This was pure, unadulterated, insatiable greed, a motive as old as time. The man I called brother, the one who shared my vision, my sacrifices, had weaponized my implicit trust. He had taken our shared ambition and twisted it into a tool for my complete professional and financial destruction. The realization was a gut punch, terrifying in its cold-hearted calculation. He saw me not as a partner, but as a naive obstacle, a means to an end for his own profit. My despair vanished completely, replaced by a chilling, unwavering resolve. This wasn't just about clearing my name or salvaging what little remained. This was about absolute, public retribution. He had taken everything from me, destroyed my life's work. Now I would take more. I would make sure his downfall was spectacular, a monument to his treachery, a lesson for all who dared to betray. I compiled every single piece of incriminating evidence. Every line of malicious code, every encrypted communication, every fraudulent financial record. It all went onto an unhackable, encrypted drive, my digital weapon, my ace in the hole. I whispered to the empty room, my voice laced with cold venom, a promise to myself. He played with fire with my life's passion. Now he'd feel the burn of his own undoing, a fire he started himself. My old identity, Ethan, the visionary developer, was dead. I buried him with Nexus Echoes. Now I needed a new one. I crafted a phantom hacker persona, a ghost in the machine, known only by the digital whispers it left behind. This anonymity was my shield, my new weapon in the shadows. I sought out Dr. Anya Sharma, a renowned digital forensics expert. She was known for her skepticism, her sharp mind. Our initial meeting was brief, tense. She listened, her expression unreadable, then dismissed my conspiracy theories with a polite but firm tone. I expected it, but I had prepared. I gave her the encrypted drive, a small piece of the puzzle. Days later, she called. Her voice was different, laced with a professional awe. My evidence wasn't theories, it was irrefutable. Alex's sophisticated corporate espionage, the sabotage, it was all there, validated by the best. Validation was one thing, exposure was another. The world saw me as a failed founder, a bitter man. I couldn't just drop the truth. I needed a strategy, a meticulous plan to expose Alex without being dismissed. This required patience, precision, and an invisible hand. I started small, subtle, anonymous leaks. Cryptic hints about Apex Corp's sudden rise, fragmented data points posted on obscure industry forums, deep web channels. Just enough to plant questions, to stir curiosity among those who paid attention to the digital undercurrents. These seeds of doubt were carefully chosen. They pointed to the unprecedented, rapid market dominance Apex Corp achieved right after Nexus Echoes' catastrophic failure. Too fast, too clean. The whispers would start. Quiet at first, then growing louder, questioning the impossible timing. Alex, meanwhile, was thriving, head of innovation at Apex Corp. He bought out the remaining scraps of our former company, a final insult for pennies. He paraded his success, believing himself untouchable. I watched, a cold observer. He didn't know I was watching. Every digital footprint, every corporate move, every public statement. I monitored his online presence, his Apex Corp activities. He was a fish in a bowl, oblivious to the predator observing from the unseen depths. Using my skills, I began probing Apex Corp's network, not to destroy, not yet. I was mapping their defenses, identifying minor vulnerabilities, backdoors I could exploit later. It was reconnaissance, preparing the battlefield for the war to come. My comeback wouldn't be as a game developer seeking redemption. That part of me was gone. I would return as a silent digital orchestrator. My new purpose was clear, to meticulously plan and execute Alex's spectacular downfall. The stage was set, the pieces were in motion, and he wouldn't even see it coming. My digital ghost, the phantom hacker, began its work on Apex Corp. I started with minor disruptions, network slowdowns, system glitches. They looked like external attacks, sophisticated but untraceable. I wanted to sow confusion, to make them question their own defenses. Each move was precise, designed to appear like a rival's probing. The goal was not destruction yet, but an erosion of trust in their security, a slow burn of uncertainty. I could almost hear the frantic calls within their security team trying to pinpoint the invisible enemy. It was just the beginning of their unraveling. Alex, now the head of Apex Corp's cybersecurity, was caught in my web. He had to battle the very systems he helped create. I watched him, a distant observer, as he struggled to identify the source of the attacks. He was chasing shadows, shadows I cast. The irony was not lost on me. He was now responsible for defending the very infrastructure he had once compromised, a poetic justice I relished. His expertise was now his burden, a leash around his neck. He was fighting a war he could not win against an enemy he could not see. I subtly manipulated Apex Corp's internal security systems. Not enough to cause outright failure, but enough to make Alex look increasingly incompetent. False alarms, misdirected alerts, critical data appearing in unsecured locations for brief moments. His new employers, who had lauded his visionary move, would soon see cracks in his carefully constructed facade. I planted seeds of doubt about his judgment and technical abilities. It was a slow drip of poison, eroding his professional standing from within. Their trust in him, like mine once was, would soon turn to suspicion. Then came the more insidious part. I planted false flags, misleading digital trails that subtly pointed towards Alex's past. Echoes of the sabotaged Nexus Echoes code began to appear in Apex Corp's network logs, not directly incriminating but enough to raise questions. Why would our old code fragments appear in their secure systems? It was a ghost of his past haunting his present. Any sharp analyst would start connecting the dots, however faint they seemed. The whispers about his prior failure would surely resurface, now with a darker, more suspicious undertone. Alex, under immense pressure, began to show signs of paranoia. His carefully constructed composure, the one he wore so well after our company's collapse, was slowly cracking. I observed his late nights, his increasingly frantic emails, his isolated frustration. He started questioning his own team, seeing saboteurs where there were none. The man who had so coldly orchestrated my downfall was now feeling the chill of his own making. The weight of his lies, combined with my calculated attacks, was proving too heavy for him to bear. He was losing control, and I was just getting started. It was time to expand the stage. I orchestrated a controlled leak of a sanitized, partial dataset, not the full truth, but enough to hint at deep corporate espionage within Apex Corp. I sent it to a trusted, independent tech journalist, a woman known for her relentless pursuit of truth. The data was carefully curated, just enough to pique her interest without revealing my hand. She would follow the breadcrumbs, slowly uncovering the rot within. This was the first public seed of doubt planted for the world to see. The media would soon become my unwitting ally. The media began asking difficult questions. News articles appeared not directly accusing but questioning Apex Corp's meteoric rise. They highlighted the suspicious timing of Nexus Echoes' downfall, drawing parallels that were too convenient to ignore. The narrative I had carefully crafted was taking hold. Public opinion, once so quick to condemn me, would now start to look for a different villain. The spotlight was shifting, slowly but surely, towards Alex and the company he now championed. The seeds of doubt had sprouted, growing into a thorny bush of suspicion. Internal friction at Apex Corp grew. Alex's colleagues and superiors started questioning his judgment and technical abilities. I made sure of it. Small errors on his part, always just enough to be noticeable, never enough to be fully explained away. His once unquestioned authority began to wane. Meetings became tense. Whispers followed him in the halls. He was losing the confidence of the very people he had sought to impress. The walls were closing in, built brick by brick with his own ambition and my strategic maneuvers. He was becoming an isolated figure. I observed Alex's growing distress and isolated frustration with a cold, calculated satisfaction. My web was tightening around him, strand by invisible strand. He was trapped, thrashing against forces he couldn't comprehend, let alone control. Each sign of his crumbling composure was a small victory, a taste of the revenge I had so meticulously planned. He had taken my life's work, my reputation, my brotherly trust. Now I was taking his peace, his standing, and soon his entire world. The pleasure was not in the destruction itself, but in the justice of it all. My preparations for the ultimate public demonstration were almost complete. I finalized the last details, the timing. The target, it was a meticulously planned event designed to unfold at a major industry gathering. An event where Alex would prominently attend, bask in his ill-gotten glory. He would be at the peak of his perceived success, surrounded by his new peers. That was where I would strike. That was where the truth would finally explode into the open, undeniable, and devastating. The stage was set for his spectacular downfall, and he would never see it coming until it was too late. The stage was set, the industry's elite gathered. Alex, radiant and self-assured, stood on the podium, basking in the spotlight. Apex Corp was about to receive its grandest accolades. He had no idea I was watching, a ghost in the shadows, ready to bring his world crashing down. My heart was steady, my plan unfolding. My secure laptop sat hidden. I watched Alex's smile through a small screen. The perfect moment arrived. A deep breath. My fingers moved. Precise and practiced. I sent the signal. The command traveled through the network, an invisible arrow aimed at Apex Corp's main presentation server. A ripple went through the crowd. The giant screen behind Alex flickered. The Apex Corp logo vanished, replaced by a simple, stark black. Then lines of code began to scroll, not their keynote, not their triumph, something else. Confusion turned to murmurs, then stunned silence. The scrolling stopped. A new image appeared. Encrypted messages. They showed conversations between Alex and Apex Corp executives. Dates, times, specific details of our game's sabotage plan. The room gasped. Alex's confident posture stiffened, his eyes wide. The screen shifted again. Financial records, transactions, large sums of money flowing from Apex Corp accounts to offshore entities linked to Alex. Dates matched the sabotage. His motive laid bare for all to see. A cold, hard truth, undeniable. Then the most damning evidence. The original dormant sabotage code from Nexus Echoes. My code, twisted and weaponized by him, it was projected line by line on the massive screen. His name explicitly linked to the ruin. The proof was irrefutable. Alex's face drained of all color. He stumbled back from the podium, his composure shattered. He started shouting frantic denials, but his words were lost in the stunned silence of the crowd. His world was crumbling around him, live for everyone to witness. The entire industry watched. Legends, rivals, former colleagues, they saw the truth of the profound brotherhood betrayal. The whispers turned to gasps of shock, then to an almost reverent silence. My name, once tarnished, began its slow, painful journey to vindication. From my hidden vantage point, I felt it, not triumph, not joy, but a deep, almost physical release. Years of pain, of shame, of relentless work, it was all leading to this moment. My name was being cleared brick by painful brick. A profound sense of vindication washed over me. This was just the beginning. Alex's reputation, his career, his future, all were in ruins, just as mine once was. But I had more in store for him. This was the public reckoning, the first devastating blow. The true downfall, the complete annihilation, was yet to come. The public reckoning led to immediate legal action. Alex faced criminal charges for corporate espionage, fraud, and intellectual property theft. The irrefutable evidence I had gathered left him no escape. I watched from afar as the legal system, slow but relentless, began to dismantle his life. The weight of his actions was finally pressing down on him, a consequence he had never anticipated when he betrayed me. Justice, though delayed, was now taking its cold. Hard course. Apex Corp, once a towering rival, crumbled under the scandal. Their stock plummeted, their reputation irrevocably damaged. Investigations were launched, leading to widespread resignations. The company, built on Alex's ill-gotten gains and their own complicity, imploded. It was a stark reminder that ambition unchecked by ethics leads only to ruin. Their spectacular fall was a direct result of the poison Alex had introduced into their foundation. With the truth exposed and the evidence undeniable, I was completely vindicated. My name, once dragged through the mud, was finally cleared. News outlets that had condemned me now issued apologies. My professional standing, shattered by Alex's treachery, was not just restored but strengthened. It was a hard-won victory, a testament to the fact that truth, however buried, eventually finds its way to the surface. The weight of public scorn was lifted. Alex's downfall was complete and spectacular. Financial ruin, public scorn, and severe legal repercussions cost him everything. The man who had once paraded his success now faced a desolate future. He lost his wealth, his freedom, and any semblance of respect. His ruthless ambition had come at an unbearable price, turning his life into a cautionary tale. He had sought a quick profit, but instead he found absolute devastation. My experience transformed me. I chose to use my voice, becoming a respected advocate for ethical practices and intellectual property protection within the gaming industry. I spoke at conferences, shared my story, and worked to prevent others from suffering similar betrayals. My pain became a purpose, a shield for future innovators. I wanted to ensure that no other visionary would have their dreams stolen by greed and deceit. I announced the formation of a new game development company. It was founded on the very principles Alex had desecrated: integrity, transparency, and true innovation. This wasn't just a business, it was a mission. We would build games not for quick profit or ruthless ambition, but for the love of the craft, for the players. It was a fresh start, a chance to rebuild something pure from the ashes of betrayal. And then I began development on a new version of Nexus Echoes. It wasn't just a game, it was my stolen dream now reclaimed. This iteration would be untainted, pure, a testament to what true passion could achieve. Every line of code, every design choice was infused with the lessons learned and the integrity earned. It would be my legacy, built on a foundation of truth, not treachery. I often reflected on the profound cost of betrayal. The years of pain, the shattered trust, the almost unbearable weight of public humiliation. But with the hard-won peace came a deeper understanding of my own resilience. I had reclaimed my narrative not as a victim, but as a survivor and a builder. The scars remained, but they were now marks of strength, not shame. I had found peace in knowing I fought for what was right. The industry, once quick to condemn me, now saw me as a symbol of resilience, of innovation, and of unwavering justice. My story became a benchmark, a reminder that integrity ultimately prevails. It was a strange reversal, a full circle from pariah to pioneer. I had not just cleared my name, I had redefined what it meant to fight for one's vision in the face of overwhelming odds. My journey inspired many. Looking towards the future, I was determined to build something truly revolutionary, untainted by greed. My vigilance would be eternal, my spirit unbroken. The lessons of betrayal were etched into my soul, guiding every decision. I would innovate, create, and inspire, ensuring that my legacy was one of honor and groundbreaking vision. This was not just a new beginning, It was a new path, forged in fire, leading to a future I controlled.